Well, Japanese pro wrestling, it seems to be in a bit of a flux recently. Sometimes there are periods that Japanese wrestling, or Purusei as they call it, um, actually has a lot of changes, and it's kind of, I mean, it's gone way back to before the earthquake in Japan. It goes way back to almost some of the major changes are happened since the passing of late great Misahara Misawa in June 2009, June 13th. He sadly passed away actually during a match in his promotion of Pro Wrestling Noah, of which he was present there. And there seemed to be, certainly within the last few months, a lot of changes going on in Japanese wrestling, both politically, roster wise, and in the general sense of Japanese pro wrestling. Now, one of Misawa's best friends, a long-time friend, former championship tag team partner, in-ring rival, is of course the world famous Burning Hammer himself, Kenta Kobashi. After a 25-year career, serious illness, he suffered from kidney cancer and a lot of injuries. He is calling time on his career in a show in association with with Pro Wrestling Noah. He will present a show on the 11th of May, just over a week away, at the Nippon Budokan Hall in Tokyo. There are 7 matches announced for this card. The main event will be the Kenta Kobashi Retirement Commemorative 8-man tag match. This whole card is filled with legends of Japanese wrestling because, of course, they get to know each other. The isolation of the wrestling company is so much an American idea. Many Japanese companies, Mexican companies, and companies across Europe work together. This idea of isolation and only using your own guys and you only using the guys you've got under contract is very much an American idea. So Japanese wrestling companies, Mexican wrestling companies tend to work together. So you get a lot of actually dream matches and a lot of the guys becoming good friends. And the main event and the final burning event will be filled with legends as Kenta, Go Shiozaki, Yoshinobu Kanemaru, and Meiba Taniguchi will face a legend dream team of Yun Akiyama, Kaijai Muto, Kensuke Sasaki, and Kenta Kobashi himself. I really do hope this is an actual match. It says commemorative 8-man tag match. I would like to also see Kobashi take the victory, or at least his team take the victory, but it's not altogether assured, as many times in Japanese wrestling, when a guy comes back from injury or serious illness, like I said Kobashi did, they don't necessarily win the match. There's been several occasions where Kobashi's came back over the last couple of years, which is part of the reasons why he's decided to retire, and he's lost the matches. It's no guarantee, even a big show like this, even if the match is hyped and promoted, loads and loads, like Kobashi's his first um, match back after serious illness was so hyped, but it doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to win. But hopefully it should be a good match. Hopefully they will do a bit of a match. I'd hate to see it as more of a plaque thingy, because Kobashi said he has been training hard for it. So I'd like to see it hopefully be a decent match, and I'm sure it will be. Um, Now, Pro Wrestling Noah, of course, the company he helped form in the year 2000 with the late great Misahara Misawa, they have suffered lately in the last couple of months with contracts. Now, it's tradition in Japanese pro wrestling for the contracts to run for calendar years, from the 1st of January to the 31st of December. This is a tradition, and I'm not sure entirely where it comes from, but it certainly is something that wrestlers can take advantage of it. They're not signed to multi-year deals like American companies, and because of the fallout of the Kenta Kobashi contract situation there was with Pro Wrestling Noah, a lot of rumours going on around at the start of the year when news filtered and leaked from somewhere that Kobashi's contract with Pro Wrestling Noah had been terminated. Obviously, it seems like it was his decision, partly at least. Uh, Several of the wrestlers actually left Pro Wrestling Noah and have gone to All Japan. Some good names and some really big names have actually left Pro Wrestling Noah. We have Yun Akiyama, Go Shiozaki, Yoshinobu Kanemaru, Kotaro Suzuki, and Atsushi Aoki have all left Pro Wrestling Noah to compete in All Japan and actually are doing very well. They're calling themselves Burning after Kenta Kobashi gave them their blessing to call them that because they really left because their contracts were getting a bit dodgy, and the whole situation with Kenta Kobashi they felt was badly handled, and some other stuff that they did not want to actually comment on, because we know that they were, like you said, doing the contract discussions, and it seems there were some other things came up, but they're all having success. Kanemaru is I believe, the All Japan Junior Heavyweight Champion, and I think Tori Suzuki and Atsushi Aoki are the Tag Team Champions. At least they've definitely held tag titles. I think it's all Asia tag titles that they've held. So All Japan, I think, is certainly the company to keep an eye out for this coming year. And like I said, there's a lot going on behind the scenes politics. It seems like um, All Japan, who were taken over in February by Speed Partners, Japanese company, the new owner Nobu Shirashi is actually replacing Kaiji Muto back as president of All Japan. Kaiji Muto is one of the world's most respected professional wrestlers. Most Western fans know him as the Great Muta. If you want to kind of think of his career, I kind of just happened to be wearing one actually, Mick Foley t-shirt. You think of kind of the Japanese Mick Foley because he wrestles under his own name. Plus, like you said, most people know him as the Great Muta, and he's actually also kind of played a couple of versions of the Great Muta character, some dark versions and some weird versions of the Great Muta character over the years. He's very much known mostly a lot from the mid 90s from his time in New Japan, when he was actually part of the Japanese New World Order, a direct link to WCW's New World Order. It wasn't a rip-off, it was a kind of association, because New Japan had that at that time, of course, how they had likes of Ultimo Dragon and so forth in their ranks, sometimes the roster. And it seems that Kaiji Muto is certain to return to this presidency of All Japan. He stepped down after a incident with Nobukazu Hira. Hira unfortunately suffered a stroke after a fight backstage with another wrestler called Taru, following a match. The details are not exactly clear. We don't know exactly what happened, as they've been very reluctant to say, and it seems a very bad stroke, as he seemingly is only recently woken up from a coma and is still in hospital apparently, suffering from memory loss, which is not a good thing. He's 43 years old, obviously can't see him wrestling again, but it seems that Kaiji Muto will be returning to the presidency of All Japan. Now, also departures from another wrestling company. Now, the reasons for this is seemingly extremely personal as well. They have continued absolute point blank to refusing to say exactly what the reasons are for this, but Hayata Orochi, Masamune, Hiroshi Kuga, and Daisuke Harada have all announced their immediate resignation from Osaka Pro Wrestling. Again, we don't know why, because there seems to be all they were saying it is personal reasons. Like I say, a lot of stuff going on in Japanese wrestling now. I don't know. I would love to know what these reasons are for all these guys walking up at the same time. I know the Pro Wrestling guys, it was contract, and it seems that some of the other stuff that they were offered was derogatory, and like I said, seemingly they were being treated rubbish in the contract negotiations or something. But all these guys have said that it's personal and they do not want to talk about it. They've been very stern. A lot of Japanese wrestling magazines and people trying to ask them what the reasons for it are, but they've just said it's personal reasons, and that's all we're saying. Daisuke Harada has already announced he is joining Pro Wrestling Noah as of today. Actually, he is officially a Pro Wrestling Noah roster member, and wishes to prove himself enough to go after Taiji Taiji Ishimori and go after the GHC Junior Heavyweight Championship. So it seems certainly where these guys will end up. Will they all end up in Pro Wrestling Noah? We don't know. The Osaka Pro have said yesterday these guys are leaving. Harada was actually the Osaka Pro Wrestling champion, and of course he relinquished it immediately. Like a lot of some companies, you don't get. You see, Japanese wrestling is so much different from other wrestling, so much else. It's to do with the culture of Japanese people, the respect, the the politeness of Japanese culture, which has really grown over the last the whole time of the Japanese country, um, and sometimes you get events like Awesome jump from ECW to WCW as the champion, didn't care about the title, but you do get that a lot if a wrestler is leaving, they will relinquish the belt or actually lose the belt, but it's be interesting to see a lot of people. There seem to be several groups of wrestlers who are actually leaving companies right now. Um, I don't know what it is. Is it the same guy that's going around doing the negotiations for each company and he's really having a bad year? I don't know. It's very interesting. And finally, when in the news, we said about Ken Kobashi retiring, but there's actually another anniversary going on as Masato Tanaka. Yes, the former ECW alumni, uh, works of course with Zero One. Zero One actually works with a Scottish company, I must add. Scottish Wrestling Alliance, based in Glasgow, run by Damien O'Connor, and got a wrestler from Northern Ireland. I've had the opportunity to see him in action a few times from a local wrestling promotion, including just this past Saturday. Really nice guy, apparently, a good guy. SWE are doing great things. They have an exclusive contract in Scotland, at least with Zero One. A few of the wrestlers have gone over to Japan to compete for Zero One. They were the company that recently had auditions to see what talent and potential talent would go over to Zero One for shows and to spend time in Japan. So they're really having a great partnership at the moment. It seems to be great. Damon O'Connell, what I've seen friends with him on Facebook, but what he's been saying that they've been absolutely fantastic. Um, Zero One are hosting a 20th anniversary show for Masato Tanaka uh, at the Kurikan Hall in Tokyo uh, this Sunday. He will be in the main event. 7 matches announced for this, and he will be having a special anniversary singles match: Masato Tanaka versus Shinjiro Otani. Now, both these guys are Japanese death match guys. Um, you try and kind of think like CZW Combat Zone Wrestling, but a lot more kind of professional. Uh, Masato Tanaka was one of these guys who was in FMW Frontier uh, Martial Arts Wrestling, and that's where a lot of the really extreme stuff some people may have seen on the wrestling channel when it was on, and seen on YouTube with the likes of Hayabusa, like before mentioned Gladiator, Mike Awesome, Leatherface, a lot of the guys, really extreme stuff, the barbed wire, kind of like Mick Foley did King of the Death Match, which I have to say I watched that tournament again. I've got it on DVD. Absolutely amazing. So they're hosting a 20th anniversary show for Masato Tanaka, and having a few of their titles on the line. I'm really looking forward to possibly seeing that card as well. It looks like a decent card. 7 matches on the card, like you said. Masato Tanaka will headline against Shinjiro Otani. So see, a lot of things are happening in Japanese pro wrestling lately. A lot of changes, a lot of roster changes, a lot of executive changes. Um, I don't know what it is. It seems a lot of stuff's happening in Japanese wrestling. Like I said, a tumultuous time for, of course, for the companies, for the country as a whole. Um, and to be honest, out of all that stuff, though, I have to admit, what I'm really looking forward to is, of course, the event I highlighted first, the Kenta Kobashi commemorative event, Final Burning, May 11th at the Budokan Hall, one of the most famed arenas in the world for pro wrestling. Really looking forward to that, to seeing that. Hopefully, it'll be some put on YouTube, but probably somebody. It's been fantastic to see Kenta Kobashi come back from serious illness and the many injuries that he's had over the years, and for him to be able to bow out in this way is great. Like I said, it's very sad that the late great Misahara Misawa will not be there, but it should be an excellent card. All of great matches coming up. Really just getting into the year, and like I said, final thought is this: keep an eye on the two promotions to keep an eye on in Japanese wrestling for the rest of this year, because we're in May now. This is amazingly 2nd of May already. Is number one for the direction of the company and for their worldwide expansion plans, what they seemingly have for the start of next year, and the direction of the company as a whole, All Japan Pro Wrestling, and for an interesting way of whether they're going to be, to be honest, unfortunately, still around at the end of the year. Look at Pro Wrestling Noah. I hope both of these, I hope Pro Wrestling Noah is around at the end of the year, and I wish nothing but good luck to all the Japanese wrestling companies, and my best wishes on his retirement for Kenta Kobashi.